Will be the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Williams, recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Chair Yellen, thank you for being here. I'm from Texas. I'm a small business owner, have been for 44 years. I appreciate your testimony. Last July, we had a chance to chat about community-based financial institutions. Further, I ask you, when I go back home, what should I tell the community bankers, the credit unions who feel they are being penalized, even targeted, for the financial collapse of our economy? And what you said was that you are trying to do everything you can to relieve burdens on community banks that have been through very difficult times. Now, Madam Chair, 1 year later, community-based financial institutions are still feeling the pain, I can tell you, and most of them don't see any relief in sight. Now, recent research from the Mercatus Center shows that the Dodd-Frank Act creates more regulatory restriction than do all other regulations under the current administration combined. Over 27,000 restrictions for all laws passed through 2014. So clearly someone around is not getting the message. So in your experience, is it more difficult for a small institution to comply with new regulatory mandates than it is for a larger institution?
Well, a very small institution, certainly we recognize there are burdens involved, but we've also tried to tailor our regulations so that there is less burden and many fewer rules apply to smaller institutions. There has been an increase in the capital standards that apply to those institutions, but most of the things we've discussed today, stress tests, TLAC, other things, liquidity regulations, don't apply to those institutions at all. And as I said, we have tried to make many efforts and will continue looking for ways to simplify the regulatory regime and the capital regime for those institutions.
Have the number of regulatory changes negatively affected a community financial institution's ability, do you think, to offer products and services to consumers more than it has affected larger institutions?
I don't know that it's affected smaller institutions more than larger institutions.
Well, I would submit that it has, and I wish you'd take a look at it. Because to be honest, I don't really know how you start a business. Like I said, I'm a business person. I don't know how you start a business in this economic environment. I don't know how people would get started. I don't know how a new business even secures capital or is able to remain profitable. And one thing you said earlier was that corporations can secure credit. They can secure capital. But, you know, I'm a Main Street person. And I can tell you, I don't see that opportunity being able to get capital and start a business right now with Main Street. So let me just close by saying this, Madam Chair. I ask these questions because the Federal Reserve is responsible for the regulatory oversight of about 5,000 bank holding companies, 850 depository institutions that are state-chartered members of the Fed. I personally have heard from banks in my district the disproportionate impact of the ever-mounting regulatory burden is contributing to increased industry consolidation. So my question would be, would you please explain the negative consequences that results from consolidation and effects of consolidation on the local and national economy?
Well, community banks are very important in supplying kinds of services to their communities that may not be readily available from larger institutions. And I certainly agree that it's important that they remain healthy and vibrant and able to thrive and contribute to the growth of their communities.
Reducing regulations would help that.
Agreed
I can tell
with you.
So please take a look at it. Main Street America is hurting. There is a difference between Main Street and Wall Street. Mr. Chairman, I yield my time back.
Gentleman yields back.